hard to feel too like like you're too important or anything because you can just go over to the field house in the winter and you'll be put in your place.
Just tell us about what it's like to play a tour like PGA Tour Latin America. The PGA Tour has done a wonderful job of creating these platforms. Mackenzie Tour is the Canadian one, and then we have this one, and the web obviously is the next step to the PGA Tour. And they're structured very much like PGA Tour events, but they're not going to be the same. There's not going to be crowds. There's not going to be the kind of amenities that you have. What's the PGA Tour Latin America like?
Yeah, I mean it's probably a lot the kind of the stereotypes of what people have about it are probably pretty accurate. There's some weeks that are certainly better than others, but all in all, I had just an awesome experience on it in my first year. Played 15 of the 17 events. Got to see some incredible places. Got to see Machu Picchu. My girlfriend came and we saw Machu Picchu. That was probably the coolest thing I've ever been able to see, or at least the most beautiful. And so, you get to see some awesome places. Get to play all sorts of different golf. I think we played in Ecuador at like 8,000 feet elevation, which, that's ball goes a long ways at 8,000 feet elevation. And then you go, I think the next week we played in Cancun in a match play event. So you go from playing at 8,000 feet elevation to, right on the sea. And just like you just play, you really learn how to play different kinds of golf because, and I'd played a lot of different kinds of golf in college, but certainly had not played the difference in grasses and climates and elevation that I did this year. So I think that'll serve me well going forward, and it will certainly make it easier if I end up going back down to Latin this year, just to be able to deal with all the different things you have to deal with.
Well, right now you're trying to do what is a very difficult thing. You don't have a lot of status on the web, and that means a Monday qualifying type of setup, and usually you have to shoot a very low number to get into the tournament. It's no way to really try and approach professional golf on a regular basis, but if you have a big week, then maybe you can turn it, and there's webs got all kinds of stories about guys who have precious little or no status, and then they're in the 25 at the end of the year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly nice to have status because then if I can get in and make a cut, I can reshuffle, and so what that means is, be able to play the rest of the year because you're actually a member of the tour, so you can reshuffle. Versus if you're just, a random person and you Monday in and you don't have status, it's tough to really parlay that into a really besides that 1 week, you're not going to get much out of it. So that's good, and I'm hoping to get in early before the Latin season starts in late March is when they think it'll start. That's obviously my goal, kind of early on in the season, is to get into an event and go from there. But at the end of the day, I want to spend January and February kind of getting ready. That if I do have to go back down to Latin, that I feel like my game's improved from where it was last year, and that I'm ready to have a big year down there because I feel like I was close this year a couple times to to win in a tournament or to do something pretty cool down there, and because that's the easiest way. I do not want to go back to 2020 Q school and have to start at first stage. So I'd like to be able to go down there and have a good year and hopefully make it to final stage next year.
You got any particular funny horror story of sorts from your first year of playing on a professional tour?
Oh yeah. Probably the one that most people like to hear is the caddies. So you have to get a caddy each week, and I think it was the second event of the year in Tijuana. They didn't have enough caddies, so they gave us the option to carry on Thursday and Friday, and in the practice rounds. And I think I carried we probably flew in Monday, so I think I probably carried like Tuesday, and then I got a caddy Wednesday. And I told the guy, I was like, I think I had an afternoon tee time. I think it was afternoon morning on Thursday and Friday. So, in my broken Spanglish, I told my caddy I'd see him at whatever my tee time was that afternoon. And so I'm hitting balls. Let's say my tee time's at 1:30. I don't know what time it was, but let's say I was teeing off at 1:30. I was hitting balls at 1, and Still wasn't at the range. I'd asked him to be there probably at 12, 40 or whatever. Still wasn't there. I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, he's classic Latin time, And then I see him with a bib on, and it says another player's name on the back. And he comes up to the range and tries to talk to me in Spanish. And of course, this is my second week, so I can't speak any Spanish. Still really don't. And I'm like, that's weird. He's wearing this bag. And so anyway, he goes off, and I don't see him. I'm like, I don't see him. So I just go to the first tee. I'm like, I guess I don't have a caddy. So I just started carrying, and the caddy had been caddying for somebody else in the morning wave to try to get double money. And so then, of course, he comes down to the third hole, and he wants to carry my bag. And I'm kind of like, wait a minute, dude. Like, you just went out and essentially cheated on me with another player. That's not how it works. And I don't know. I didn't want to get into it. So he ended up carrying the bag for me that day. And, I mean, yeah, the caddy situation is obviously, depending on the week, can be pretty funny. Because these caddies, sometimes they're knowledgeable and sometimes you get good ones. But a lot of times you get, essentially just, somebody who's just a Sherpa who has no idea really what they're doing. And that's certainly probably the most challenging thing of week in and week out is, because you can't afford to take a caddy with you each event. And so you're just getting a local caddy each week. And a lot of times they're good, and a lot of times now they've changed the rules where the caddies really can't get you a penalty. But there's been many stories of caddies getting players penalties.
How did that play out? I mean, did he double dip all week? Did the other player miss the cut? What happened?
I think he actually ended up caddying for me each day, and he was fine. I think I played okay that week. I think I made the cut and probably finished middle of the pack in the cut, and it was fine. I mean, it was just kind of a funny story. I mean, there was certainly no bad feelings, but it was just like, wait a minute, dude, like you just completely missed my tee time, and then you're coming out. And, but that's just part of it. So I mean, the old cliche with us is just you can complain about a lot of things, but if you play better, it'll fix a lot of things.
And now you're embarking on your second year. Do you have a long-term plan, or are you just going to try to take it as it comes right now?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just take it as it comes. The way I've got it set up with the people helping me out is kind of reevaluate after 2020 and kind of see where I'm at. But I mean, the main thing is that I try to really narrow my focus on is if I can continue to get better, each year, each day, each week, then I feel like I've got the the skills and the talent to make it in golf. And if I can focus on that, it certainly takes away a lot of the anxious thoughts or the anxiety of kind of what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, I'm doing something that a lot of people would love to be doing, and there's certainly tough things about it, but there's a lot of awesome things about it. So try to enjoy it as much as I can, and I would say just kind of taking it day by day, week by week, plane ride by plane ride.
As we tape this, your buddy Harry Higgs is mic'd up on the web.com telecast. Thank you for being mic'd up with me today.
That's right, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
That's Chase Hanna, professional golfer, trying to climb the ladder of professional golf. A very fascinating tale with him, and that'll give you somebody else to root for in the small type as you follow the PGA Tour.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.